Bred for the sole purpose of war, clone troopers were held up by their creators as the greatest soldiers ever to exist within galactic history. So when they weren't being led by their Jedi generals into battle against the droid army, what did the clones do in their free time? This answer varies on the clones themselves and where they were when off duty. Clones who were brought back to Coruscant were allowed to freely access and enjoy any of the entertainment establishments on the planet, from cantinas to nightclubs. All of their expenses were paid for by the Republic, and they tended to crowd into local bars, such as 79's, which was well known for being the clone bar. At these bars, clones hung out with their brothers and did everything from getting drunk to watching sports games on the holoscreens. They arm wrestled with each other, got rowdy with customers, and probably tried to hook up with women. Many of the locals of Coruscant didn't enjoy their presence, especially when they were drunk, as clones tended to harass the citizens by either name-calling or by throwing liquor bottles at them. Some clones even refused to pay after a service, jokingly telling sellers to bill it to the Republic. The worst part was, nothing could be done to them. The clones were essentially above the law to some degree. But this was the typical behavior of only the average clone troopers. Some clones, those who were more independent in thought, did more productive things in their free time. For example, the Legends ARC Trooper Alpha 26 spent his downtime reading and educating himself about politics, eventually developing his own opinions on the state of the Republic and the Clone Wars itself. Over time, he became disillusioned to the propaganda spewed out by the Republic, and he ultimately deserted the military as a result. Other ARC Troopers spent their free time looking for a cure to their accelerated aging process, which caused them to age twice as fast as normal. Many of them even sought ways to desert the army and to free themselves from the chains the Republic military held them in. When stationed in the bases, but not exactly doing anything, the clones typically listened to music from the radio and just made small talk with each other and did things that you would expect normal soldiers to do, such as arm wrestle or play darts. When stationed at the barracks, their daily routines consisted of sleeping, going to the mess hall to eat, doing training drills, cleaning and inspecting their weapons, and then just sitting around and waiting for the order to go out into the battlefield. Despite being given freedom to do what they wanted to when off duty, some clones found the civilian life boring and unfulfilling. They always had an itch to go out and fight, and felt like they were being wasted when not on the front lines of a battle. Actually, clones who remained loyal to the Empire found their new positions as stormtroopers to be dull, as after a few years of the Empire's reign, there was no one to fight against. Pretty much everyone had submitted to them by that point. All they did under the Empire was maintain the local streets of systems, or just hang out in Star Destroyers waiting for the call that would send them to the battlefield, which rarely ever came. They sat around and watched as the Empire began replacing them with regular human recruits, to whom they found to be far inferior soldiers compared to themselves. From one clone stormtrooper's recollections, he actually became excited once the rebellion began, as finally he and his brothers got to see some action again on a regular basis. It got their blood running again, and they were finally doing what they were best at, being the galaxy's finest soldiers. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, may the Force be with you.